Today we're in Chatsworth, California at the All Mustang and Ford Club Show. We're going to be checking out the vintage Mustangs, talking to some of the owners, and hopefully revving some of those engines. With us right now is Chuck Walden with his 1967 Mustang. Now, Chuck, I know you have a lot to tell us about your car because there's some really interesting specifications on this vehicle. So why don't you start for us?
Sure. It's a 1967 fastback. It just came kind of as a basket case when I bought it about 9 years ago. And since then, I've added the body kit from Cinema Vehicles, from the Eleanor clone that they're producing from the movie Gone in 60 Seconds.
Was that a favorite movie of yours?
Oh, I fell in love with it when I saw it. I was building a 67 Shelby replica at the time, and when I saw that, I said, no, I've got to have the Eleanor, the last one stolen in the movie.
So it totally changed your mind.
It absolutely did.
I also hear that it helped you finish your project.
That's right. It inspired me to complete the project. It's got a 351 stroker motor from Hawaii Racing. It's got a 9-inch posi rear end. It's got a late model Ford AOD, which is automatic overdrive transmission with the shift kit. It's got all the goodies. It's got Coney shocks, subframe connectors, traction bars. It's really got all the goodies that you want on it.
It's fast.
It's very, very fast, yes.
I know you're just breaking in the engine, but I was asking you about the torque, which you're not even sure of yet.
The horsepower should run anywhere from 430 to 450, and down the road I want to add nitrous to it and give it a little more punch.
Like it needs it. Now, are you driving this vehicle regularly or just kind of a weekend vehicle?
Kind of on the weekends, garaged during the week with a car cover. Got to protect my baby. I love my wife, but this is my second love interest.
See, this is what happens.
Yeah.
This is what happens. All right, I know. Let a guy have a hobby, and there you become second in the household.
Yeah. No, she's still number one.
Okay, just checking. Just checking for you. I've got your wife's back.
Yeah, good. Somebody needs to look out for her interest. Yeah.
Definitely. Now, is this the first vehicle that you actually restored?
No, I have another 67 fastback, but it's just kind of stock that I bought about 15 years ago. In fact, it was my son's car, and he kind of gave up on it, and it's at home. But this is the one I've really invested myself in.
This is the one. Right. Yes, this is the one that you want. All right,
Chino Auto Body did the paint in Canoga Park. He's awesome. Can you say that?
Let's give a shout out. Sure, why not? Well, Chuck, you've been a pleasure. Thank you so much for sharing everything about your 67 Mustang.
All right.
Fastback. All right, thanks. Okay, this is Dusty Pinkerton here with this 1970 Mustang convertible. Actually, it's a deluxe convertible, correct?
Well, it's one of the very rare Super Cobra Jet convertibles that they made in 1970.
Okay, now before we get to that, because I just said it was Dusty's convertible, it really isn't. I heard he lost it in a bet and had his wife pay him $1 for it. Is that correct?
Yes, that's true. We did about 3 years ago. I don't remember what it was about, but I lost and I had to sell her the car for $1. So it's her car, but I get to work on it.
But let's get into the rarity of this vehicle because there are only 7 that were made.
Like this one, that's true.
And I was asking you earlier, how many do you think are still in existence? Because you just noticed one on eBay recently.
Yes, we saw one on eBay last night for $90,000. And there's one in London, and there's one in Texas that we know of.
So 4 out of 7.
4 out of 7.
That's pretty amazing. This has got to be a very valuable car.
Yes, very much so.
And I hear you've made a few investments into this car.
Oh yeah, I've had it since 1980 and completely gone through it a couple of times, but now it has all the chrome and aluminum engines and components, and it's been updated, has everything basically new on it, and a lot of the stuff is like modern technology. It gets better mileage and runs a lot better now.
Tell us a little bit about the engine, because I know that's also new as well, correct?
Yes, this is a brand new engine we put in. We started out with the factory Super Cobra Jet block, and we put a stroker crank in it, took it up to 472 cubic inches, as if it needed it. It really didn't, but...
It sounds good.
And it sounds good. We went to a crane roller rockers and roller lifter cam, and Edelbrock heads and Edelbrock water pump and aluminum radiator, all the later things that just weren't available back then.
It's pretty amazing. We were talking about technology earlier.
Yes.
And look at how it comes to play in your Mustang. What are you looking at when it comes to horsepower and torque? Do you know?
Somewhat over, well, the torque would be over 500 foot-pounds. The horsepower, somewhere around 460.
Did you do anything to the interior as well?
Well, we've rebuilt it and updated it again. It has quartz action in the clock, for example, and has a AM/FM cassette player in it that wasn't available back in those days. And more modern and more accurate gauges.
Well, Dusty, thank you so much. We certainly appreciate it.
I thank you, too. If I remember right, this car is about the same age you are, so it's really well restored, both of you.
I can't believe he gave away my age. All right, we are here with a pair of 65 Mustang owners, Bud and Julie Vasha. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, Julie, my first question to Julie is, do bad girls really drive bad toys?
Definitely.
What inspired you to get that license plate?
My husband.
Bad girl.
Okay, we're not going to go there on that one. Why don't you start and tell us a little bit about your 65 Mustang?
This is a 289 GT, which means it has the 4-barrel carburetor in it. Gives it a little more oomph. The standard Mustang 8 cylinders had the 2-barrel. And it's got disc brakes in the front. And let's see, you can see the grille lights and the exhaust through the back. And that what makes it a GT. And then I just took off anything that's metal and chromed it and put it back on.
How much work did you have to do to not only to the engine but to the interior of the vehicle?
Actually, the interior and the exterior look pretty much like it is now when we bought it. The engine was a little greasy and dirty. It was a show car, but with the hood down when we got it. So I completely repainted the whole inside and cleaned that all up to where I can leave the hood open now it shows.
Good. Now, this is your vehicle, so is he allowed to drive it?
Oh, definitely.
They are so nice. All right, Bud, I hear you have a 65 Mustang. You're going to show it to us as well?
Right over here.
All right, let's go. Bud, we're now standing next to your vehicle. This is also a GT 65, correct?
Yes.
Now, what makes your vehicle different from Julie's?
Well, this is what they call the K code. This is Ford Mustang's high performance. Still has the basic 289 engine, but it has a larger carburetor, a higher intake manifold that the carburetor sits on, kind of tuned exhaust. The engine is a little different inside, is beefed up, and it's got what's called solid lifters on it. That gives it higher compression, more horsepower, and a higher RPM rating. So it runs a little quicker.
So you're telling me your car's faster than your wife's.
Yeah, plus my wife's is like the Cruiser. It's got the automatic and the power steering and the air conditioning, so that's the great Sunday family car. And this is like the Saturday night or Friday night car.
It's your date car.
That's it. That's it.
Now, the K code, if I'm correct, has increased in value in the last few years immensely, hasn't it?
Yeah. Well, a lot of the cars have too, but yeah, the K codes are becoming more and more rare because this is pretty much stock. Nobody's butchered it up or changed it. It's got the 4-speed Hearst top loader tranny in it that the Shelbys used to use, so it'll get up to the speeds real quick.
Yeah, see, I think someone goes to the speeds real quick, don't you?
Yeah, my driveway in the front kind of looks like the landing strip at an airport with all the black lines on it. But, I had to get my last little jolt in there before driving it in the garage.
Of course. Now, is Julie allowed to drive your car?
She's driven it. Yeah, she's driven it, except the clutch is a real racing clutch, and it's a little hard, and she can drive a stick shift great. It's just every time she goes around a corner, she peels out because she's not used to the clutch yet. So.
Yeah. It sounds like a lot of fun, though.
It is. Oh,
Yeah.
gosh, it's wonderful.
All right, Ralph Bermudez and I are hanging out by his 67 Fastback GT. Is that right?
That's correct.
I'm wearing his glasses. You like them? Do you wear them all the time when you drive your Mustang?
Yes.
Now, you've had your vehicle for 25 years. Tell us a little bit about your vehicle.
When I first bought it, it was just it was missing. It was just a piece of junk. And then slowly but surely started doing it, improving till the way it is right now. The last time I got about $20,000 in the last year.
In the last year, you've spent $20,000.
I put new suspension, a new upgraded the disc brakes on the front. I got all the trick stuff that you can put on it.
So it's totally tricked out. Is that what you're telling me, Ralph? Wow. No, you were telling me that the exterior, the paint was coming off. It wasn't even originally this color. What color was it?
It was white to begin with, and there was orange peeling coming out of it. I did put it the original color back again in '67, and I changed the dashboard, put the JME gauges on it, which is they're more accurate than the stock gauges, and they look better too.
I like your jacket. Can I try on your Mustang jacket? Will you get it for me? It's gonna get me his jacket. Wait till you see the whole outfit. Not only are there vintage Mustangs here, but there are even some new vehicles. Watch this. All right, we are here with Anthony Favada, also known as Big T. Can I be Little K?
Yes, that's fine.
All right, now tell us all about your 2000 Mustang that is supercharged, as you said.
Well, the project started around 2002. Went to my first car show, and from there, my girlfriend and I, Luz, started designing the car to make it a little different from the rest of the Mustangs that were out there. We started with custom pieces on the engine, and then we got into the bug for more speed. We put a Vortex supercharger in there as well, and started working with a shop called Chicane in Torrance, California, owned by Joe Kaczynski, and then we started the designing of what you see today.
What was the inspiration for those doors?
Well, actually, I've always had a love for the Diablo Lamborghini, and I was contacted from the persons who actually originally designed the doors, called GT Factory. They're located here in San Diego, and they actually just finished this project for me last night, and to be ready here for the show.
So this is its big debut with the doors, right?
Absolutely.
Huge debut. I got to sample that. It's kind of nice.
Thanks.
And I hear that you and your car are a little bit of a celebrity recently on Jay Leno.
That's correct. Yeah, we there was part of a Ford sponsor show called the Ford Summer Concert Series, and they feature the car and they call it the best seat in the house. And they take two people from the audience and they watch the show. On that particular night, they had a group called Velvet Revolver, and it was a very fun experience.
Well, we've had so much fun out here in Chatsworth, California. Thank you so much for joining us. We'll see you next time.
Thanks. Bye-bye.